kaibigan, kami ang Group 2 ng BSED English 1A. Ako si Mark Guado at ito po ang Group 2 Conversation.
Good day everyone. Today we are going to present Bayani in Kabayanihan. The first part is consists of the definition of terms. The first term is hero. Hero is a person who admired by his greatness or braveness towards any circumstances to his life. Through his act or fine qualities, he was considered to be the central figure in any event. The word hero is commonly applied to many different types of people performing widely varying acts. For example, in the movie or in any teleserye, there is always a protagonist who is also considered as a hero, in the sense of being great or being inspiration to other people. Katumbas ng salitang hero sa ibang wika sa bansang Pilipinas, sa Waray, Tagalog, Bicol, Kapampangan at Cebuano, tinatawag ang hero bilang bayani. Sa Hiligaynon, Baganihan. Sa Ilocano, Banuar at sa Pangasinan, Palbayani.
Good day, I'm Kirby Glory, and now we are defining the most two common words among all Filipino individuals, which is bayani and kabayanihan. Unahin na natin kung ano ang bayani. Ang bayani is unselfish act towards a human race or a person who possesses extraordinary courage or bravery that ignores extreme danger and exhibits strength to overcome difficulties. So, just hearing the word bayani, I know that there are a lot of representation, concepts, ideas, and information that comes into your mind to define the word bayani itself. But for accuracy and credibility, let's have the Bakasin's dictionary defining the bayani as a person who offers free service or labors to cooperative endeavor. And now we also have the UP Dictionaryong Filipino that give three meanings or definitions to the word bayani. And those are A person of extraordinary ability or courage. B, a person who is considered to possess extraordinary talent or did something noble or being dakila. And 3 is a leading man in a play. Then, we have the Vocabulario de la Lengua Tagala that defines bayani as a person who works towards a common task or a cooperative endeavor. Lagi nating tatandaan ang ibig sabihin ng kabayanihan ay ang gawi or gawa ng isang tao na hindi humihingi ng anumang kapalit. The examples of the word kabayanihan is what our national heroes did, Dr. Jose Rizal, in which he opposed the Spaniards through writing in his novel No Limitang Hre and El Filibusterismo. That is one of the greatest example of the word kabayanihan. Itong halimbawa ay ang pagsakripisyo ng mga buhay ng mga bawat Pilipino sa paglaban sa mga dayuhan o mga kalaban ng ating bansa. Nariyan ang mga sundalo sa Marawi, Dapolen 44 at marami pang ibang nagbuhos ng kanilang sarili para lang sa ating bayan. But if I am asked to define the word bayani in kabayanihan, in my own perspective, I would compare the word bayani to the word resilient. Kasi doon naman talaga tayo kilalang mga Pilipino. After all the hardship, encounters, difficulties of those disasters na naranasan natin, nandito pa rin tayo bumabangon, masaya, sama-sama, kakapit, at lahat ay sasalubong sa bagong umaga. At sa kabayanihan naman, parang natural na ito sa ating gawain dahil laging nasa concept ng mga Pilipino ang humanity.
The changing forms and definitions of bayani and kabayanihan. We may all know that the definition of a bayani may historically refer to those who contributed to the birth of a nation. However, dahil nga sa pagbago ng panahon, the modern day bayani may refer to someone who contributes to a nation in a global world. Meaning to say, sa panahon ngayon, dinedefine na natin ang bayani as tumutulong para sa ating bansa or tumutulong sa ating kinabukasan. Gaya ng, say for example, ang mga overseas Filipino workers or OFWs natin. Though, the OFWs are the Filipinos who are working in foreign countries. They basically travel abroad in pursuit of a better employment to provide the needs of their respective families in the Philippines. Tinagurian sila ang mga bagong bayani dahil working abroad is a form of taking risk or pakikipagsapalaran. For them, as it entails sacrifices and likely dangers such as loneliness, anxieties, traumas, fatigue, culture shock, and even exploitation. Bukod doon, OFWs also play a vital role in the progress of the Philippines' economic status. The money they send provides the much needed hard currency, saving the country from defaulting and on foreign debt obligations. Ito ay sa pamamagitan ng mga perang pinapadala nila sa kanilang mga pamilya. In recognition of their contributions to the national economy, OFWs are thus called mga bagong bayani or the modern day heroes. And the Philippines celebrate December or the month of December as the month of the overseas Filipino workers. Kaya mapapansin nyo sa December o pag tuwing Christmas season, mas madaming umuwi din ng mga OFWs. This only goes to show that our concept of kabayanihan and bayani do shift and evolve. To compare the nation of OFWs as modern day bayani to earlier meanings of bayani. Meaning to say, kung dati kung paano natin dinidescribe ang bayani sa pamamagitan ng kanilang nililigtas ang bayan natin tulad nila Andres Bonifacio, Jose Rizal, and many more. Dito naman sa panahon naman ngayon, we defined a bayani who does not just save us from danger, but also it also helps us in other ways. Gaya nga ng OFWs, bukod sa tinutulungan tayo economically, tinutulungan din ang ating pamilya para mabuhay. At dahil nga sa changing forms at definitions of bayani, ang sabi ng online article na ang salitang bayani sa Pilipinas, ina-explain lalo ng definition ng bayani na mga mandirigma kung saan sila ay nanguna sa pagtatanggol ng mga pamayanan laban sa mga kinaharap na kaaway at mga paanib. At ang mga deribatibong mga salita naman ng bayani ay bahani, mahani, bagabnim at bahani. Ito po ay yung mga bagong terms or yung mga traditional terms ng pagiging bayani.
Sa kultura natin mga Pilipino, ang pagiging bayani ay nasusukat sa katapangan at sa bilang ng napapatay na kaaway. Mayroon tayong 5 antas ng pagiging bayani. Ito ay kinikilala bilang una, ang maniklad. Ang maniklad, ang pinakamababang uri ng pagiging bayani. Ito ay nakakapatay ng 1 hanggang 2 kaaway at karaniwang suot ay putong na kulay pula at dilaw. Tinatawag naman na hanagan ang 2nd antas ng bayani at nakakapatay ang mga ito ng 5 kaaway. Subalit, bago maging isang hanagan, kailangan muna niyang makapasa na maging isang tagbusawan o kung saan may ritual na sasaniban ng Diyos ng pakikipagdigma na si Tagbusaw ang isang hanagan bago siya matawag na hanagan. Itinatakda ng mga matatanda sa tribo pag ang isang maniklad ay itinanghal na hanagan pagkatapos ng ritual. Pagkatapos ng ritual, saka lamang makakapagsuot ang mga ito ng kulay pulang putong. Ang mga bayani naman na nakakapatay ng 7 hanggang 27 kaaway ay ang tinatawag na kinabuan. Ito ang 3rd antas ng pagiging bayani. Ang mga ito ay nakasuot ng pulang pantalon. Luto naman ang tawag sa 4th na antas ng pagiging bayani. Sila ay nakakapatay ng 50 hanggang 100 kaaway at karaniwang nakasuot ng pulang jacket. Ang pinakamataas na antas ng pagiging bayani ay tinatawag na lunugom. Sila ang pinakapaborito ng Diyos ng pakikipagdigma na si Tagbusaw. Sinasabing napapakita ng mga lunugom ang kanilang katampangan sa pakikipagdima at sa pagpatay sa kaaway sa sarili nitong tahanan. Ang mga lunugom ay karaniwang nakasuot ng itim na kasuotan. Si Dr. Zeus A. Salazar, isang Filipino historian at pantayong pananaw proponent, ay nagbigay ng panibagong ideya sa bayani. Naniniwala siyang magkaiba ang bayani at ang term na heroes. Para sa kanya, ang bayani ay una, mga taong naglalakbay at bumabalik sa sariling bayan. Pangalawa, lumalaban ng may kooperasyon, na sumasalungat sa Western concept na ang bayani ay lumalaban mag-isa. Pangatlo, ang mga bayani ay hindi kailangang mamatay para matawag na bayani. Kailangan lamang niyang gumawa ng isang magandang impluwensya at gawain sa bayan para matawag na bayani. Dahil dito, binigyan tayo ni Dr. Zeus A. Salazar ng ideya na lahat tayo ay maaaring maging bayani sa sarili nating paraan at sa sarili nating komunidad.
Who made Rizal our foremost bayani? According to Esteban A. de Ocampo article, Who made Rizal our foremost and national hero and why? Has become well known in defending Jose Rizal being the Philippines' foremost hero. Essentially, it denies the claim that Rizal is a made-to-order national hero manufactured by the Americans, chiefly by then Civil Governor William Howard Taft. And Ocampo believes and thus justify that Rizal is our foremost and greatest national hero. Ocampo uses as a basis the meaning of the term hero by the Webster New International Dictionary of the English Language. Letter A prominent or central personage taking admirable part in any remarkable action or event. Referring to the first definition, Rizal was said to have taken an admirable part in the propaganda campaign in 1882 to 1896. In his No Limitang Here, Berlin in 1887 was said to be far superior and greater than those published by Pedro Paterno, Marcelo Ch. del Pilar, Graciano Lopez Haina, and Antonio Luna. In fact, Jose Rizal, Nole, and El Pile resulted in the enactment of a law now known as Republic Act 1425. B. A person of distinguished valor or enterprise and in danger. Using the second quoted meaning of hero, De Ocampo claims that no Filipino has yet been born who can equal or surpass Rizal as a person of distinguished valor, enterprise, and danger, fortitude, and suffering. De Ocampo uses as justification the description of Rafael Palma, Dr. Frank Laubach of Rizal novel Self-Denial, heroism, moral courage, and complete abandonment of his personal interests to think only of those of his country. C. A man honored after death by public worship because of exceptional service to mankind. Anchoring on the third quoted definition of hero, De Ocampo proposes that Rizal is a man honored after death by public worship because of exceptional service to mankind. A year after Rizal's execution, General Emilio Aguinaldo and other revolutionary chiefs exiled to Hong Kong held a commemorative program there on December 29, 1897, on the occasion of the first anniversary of the hero's execution. Of utmost significance in the public appreciation of Rizal's patriotic labors in behalf of his people with the tributes paid by the revolutionary government in his memory. In his memory, an opening address at the Congress assembled in Malolos, Bulacan on September 15, 1898. President Aguinaldo invoked the spirits of departed heroes of the fatherland.
Why Rizal and not Andres Bonifacio is the national hero of the Philippines? It has always been a heated argument on who deserved to be called a Philippine national hero. De Ocampo also comments that Andres Bonifacio and not Jose Rizal deserves to be acknowledged as the Philippines' first national hero. Related to this claim is the argument that the foremost national heroes of some other countries are soldiers, generals, while Rizal never held any gun, rifle, or a sword in fighting for the liberty and independence of our country. De Ocampo explained that our people in exercising their good sense, independent judgment, and unusual discernment have not followed the examples of many other nations in selecting and acknowledging a military leader for their greatest hero. Generally, the heroes of Occidental nation are warriors and generals who serve their cause with the sword, distilling blood and tears. The hero of the Philippines served his cause with the pen, demonstrating that the pen is as mighty as the sword, to redeem a people from their political slavery. The Americans recommended Rizal because of the fact that he was executed by the Spaniards and of his peaceful way to achieve liberty, unlike Andres Bonifacio, whose desire to achieve independence for his native land required armed approach. The Americans deemed their approach to independence of Andres Bonifacio to be unacceptable and may inspire the Filipinos to rebel against American rule. This is why Jose Rizal was chosen over him as the national hero. So, for Rizal, violence or armed resistance only as a last resort and considered the restoration of the people's dignity as a justification means of achieving national liberation and self-rule. On the other hand, we, Filipinos, also grateful to Andres Bonifacio's legacy, his advocacy to an armed revolution. We credit both Jose Rizal and Andres Bonifacio for awakening the patriot spirit of Filipinos.
A pleasant day to everyone. I am Michael Vinspirola. I will be the last reporter, and also I will be concluding and answering the question, who made Rizal our national hero? So let's start by saying a famous quote that everyone have probably heard already says that the pen is mightier than the sword. And the best embodiment of this would be no other than our very own Dr. Jose Rizal. This could be explained simply by the Philippine Revolution. Yes, it might be Andres Bonifacio through the KKK that led the war against the Spaniards, but we should also acknowledge that it was Rizal's literary works that amplified and inspired the nationalist movement to attain independence from our colonizers. In addition, his extraordinary capabilities and versatility is something that also made him outstanding among all. Because he is not just a novelist and an academic, but he is also a doctor, a linguist, a polyglot, an anthropologist, and too many professions to mention. Therefore, we could say that the assumptions and criticism thrown against Rizal, that he was a manufactured American hero and he was only hailed as our hero because of the recommendation of the American governor William Howard Taft, was all discredited and debunked by the fact that there is no law that provides or mandates the National Heroes Committee of the Philippines to give Rizal the category as our greatest hero. Neither there is no group or notable individual that has the influence to put Rizal on that pedestal to give him the recognition, but rather it is the Filipino people who gave the recognition to Rizal. There might be no explicit way or official memorandum from our Philippine government that hail Rizal as our national hero, but it is us, the Filipinos, who embraced him to be one. Okay, so sa madaling sabi po, sinasabi po na wala talagang batas, wala pong tao, hindi rin po ang mga kilalang grupo o mga kilalang tao ang nagbigay kay Rizal ng rekognasyon bilang isang ating pambansang bayani. Ngunit tayo po, bilang mga Pilipino o ang sambayan ng Pilipino noong mga nakaraan hanggang sa dumating na sa makabagong henerasyon, ang kusang yumakap at tumanggap kay Rizal bilang maging siya ang ating pambansang bayani. So, to answer the question, kaya po siya ang ating pambansang bayani hindi dahil may batas o meron tayong mga memorandum mula sa ating gobyerno na nagsasabi na si Rizal ang ating pambansang bayani. Ngunit tayo ang dahilan kung bakit si Rizal ang ating pambansang bayani dahil tinanggap natin siya ng kusa. Yun lang po at maraming salamat.
On this part of our group report, we are going to discuss how we consider or declare someone as a hero. Being a patriot is being makabayan in Filipino language, a person who shows his admiration and love to his country, who is willing and volunteer himself just to defend and secure the country's identity. For example, Andres Bonifacio, an educated hero of ours, but still he has the capability to serve us, our country, to defend it from the cruelty of the Spaniard, who works toward a common task or cooperative endeavor for its people. The person is willing to volunteer itself to serve in times of needs, and the best example that I could give on this part is Gabriela Silang, an ordinary woman who fought like a man for its country, which makes her extraordinary. As we know, women on the time are very underrated, but Gabriela Silang made a different image and became the icon example of true Filipina. A person who offered his life for the sake of other people. If you haven't watched the movie Goyo, ang Batang General, there is a line there, kung nasa bingit ka ng kamatayan, humiya ka lamang na malalim at lumaban. Hindi na buhay natin pinag-uusapan dito bagkus buhay na nasusunod na henerasyon ang nakasalalay rito, which means a true leader or a hero must be ready to offer his life to achieve one's goal, which is the kapayapaan on that time. One of my example here is Makari Sakay. He is a very underrated general on his time. And he is also one of the closest confidante of Bonifacio, who leads the Tagalog Republic to start a revolutionary against Americans. But later on, the American found out this kind of rebellion and sent Sakay a letter. For an exchange to his man, he must use himself as a ransom in order to leave his soldiers. Sakay surrendered and he was imprisoned and hanged and died. Had a big impact to its people and to its country. Most of our heroes had an impact to us and to our country, of course. But because of the death of this person, General Antonio Luna, the fiercest of the all general on his time, he is known for his smart battlefield planning, but later on, he was killed by Emilio Aguinaldo's soldiers. Because of his death, it helps us to enlighten the true enemy of our country or its people, which is the Filipinos. A man honored after death by the public worship because of an exceptional service to mankind. Of course, and I don't need to explain this much, and the best example here is our national hero, which is Jose Rizal, and I don't need to explain it anymore. A person who took an admirable part in any remarkable action or event towards its people or its country. It means, despite of the age, disabilities, or gender, you are willing to serve your country. Aside of Tandang Sora or Machora Aquino, who healed thousands of soldiers despite of his age, we also have Apolinary Mabini, who served the three branches of our country in spite of his disability to walk because of polio. He became the inspiration of a lot of Filipinos that everyone could take part in the revolution as long as you are brave enough to fight for your country. Volunteer himself for free service and someone who did something noble for the sake of its people and its country. The person must be devoted on his desire for other people, like our national hero, Dr. Jose Rizal. His desire is to free us Filipinos from the hands of the Spaniards, which is the reason he wrote Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo that showcase the cruelty of the Spaniards, and later on he was killed because of these two novels and starts the revolution. But now, is it possible for us to be a hero or become a hero someday? A good hero can be hard to find. A hero is selfless, a genuinely good person, and someone gets the undivided attention of all of us and causes change, someone willing to risk their own life to save another. According to Dave Miller 2018, Miller said that a true hero is a person with a kind-hearted who influences other people and someone who's volunteer himself to help other people, which is rare. But one of the examples here is a Filipino, Chris Valdez, who is devoted for helping street children in terms of their basic needs since he was since he was a child. He is doing this since he was 12 years old and now he is 19 years old. He inspired a lot of people, mostly are in the adult age and wanting to be like him. The reason he was awarded many times because of this advocacy. Researchers Franco Blue and Zimbardo suggest that heroism is an acting voluntarily for the service of others who are in need, whether it is an individual, a group, or a community, performing actions without any expectation of reward or external gain. Recognition and acceptance of the potential risks or sacrifices made by taking heroic actions, but most suggest that heroism involves prosocial altruistic actions that involve an element of personal risk or sacrifice. Doing good things towards other people without asking for gratitude is a heroic. To make this shorter, it means the act of being generous your responsibility not because it's your responsibility as a person, but because you are willing. It's an act of kindness without asking for recognition. That are times in our life that we just want to help other people without any reason but just to help. That is the time where we came back we that is the time where we became a hero. He's the one who has all the courage and he has the responsibility, said by Sarah Perry, which means the person who is devoted to its responsibility or let's say on their professions. Dito na natin ipapasok ang mga guro, pulis, militar at kasalukuyang mga bayani sa panahon ng pandemya, ang mga nurses at doktor. Masasabi lamang natin na mga bayani ito kung hindi nila inaabuso ang kanilang profesyon at ginagawa nila ito sa tama. Kaakibat din dito ang mga magulang natin, kaya tinatawag din natin silang bayani ng buhay natin sapagkat kung wala sila, wala rin tayo. Psychologically speaking, according to a paper published in 2010, researchers have found that people who had engaged in one-time acts of bravery are not necessarily that much different from control of groups of non-heroes. The true heroes are the one who's devoted to its responsibility and stands for what is right. Okay, let's focus on the phrase responsibility and stands for it's right. I mean, what is right? We we can most see this kind of attitude and behavior are those nationalist activists because I believe that they are not afraid of being accused of terrorists. They are just fighting what is right for our country, like our late Miriam Defensor and Gina Lopez, who fought for human rights and helped the poor people. As a citizen of this country, we have the power and responsibility to make change. It's our responsibility to be to be the lean on by our fellow countrymen. But before I end and before I give the honor to our beautiful Ma'am Liz Baldovino, I want to ask yourselves, could you be a hero? Or when was the last time you became a hero? Or let's say, is there a time in your life that you became a hero? That's all. Thank you. And I hope you learned something from me. Thank you.
Modern day heroes. Just like the definition of a national hero or a hero itself, the definition of a modern day heroes is no different from those of the two mentioned. So, a modern day heroes are anyone who fights for a good cause and makes a positive difference in the world. So, what are an example or what are the examples of a good causes or mabuting hangarin? So, pwede siyang justice for all, equality and equity, acceptance of diversity. Those are some of the good causes or mabuting hangarin na ipinaglalaban ng ating modern day heroes, which are the same fights or the same things that are being fought by our national heroes or a hero itself. So, who are our modern day heroes? We have always known and lived by the tagline, not all heroes wear capes, and it is actually true.
Our modern day heroes include the soldiers who are always on the watch for security threats and keep them at bay. The local street sweepers are also modern day heroes because they keep the streets clean of trash. The firefighters who, without hesitation, will rescue anyone trapped inside a burning building. And in this time of this pandemic, the teachers who offer their time unconditionally to nurture their students. These people that I have mentioned, and even those who are not, may include our parents or relatives. They are constantly risking their lives just to help people who are at risk. As ironic as it may sound, it is the duty they have sworn by, and a snappy salute to those heroes who actually executes their sworn by duties. But the next slide shows our most considered and most regarded modern day heroes, which are the overseas Filipino workers, also known as OFWs, for the sacrifice they give to provide for their family and to also keep the Philippine economy afloat. Imagine being away from your loved ones for years just to work, and isn't it ironic that they need to leave behind their kids and then take care of other kids across the country? That's a sacrifice not many people could do. There are even instances where our kababayans are being discriminated against or experiences domestic violence, and they have no choice but to endure this so that their families in the Philippines will not worry about them and just to provide for them. That's one of the biggest sacrifice one person could do. The next slide is a very short video clip that shows our gratitude to those people whom we can also consider our modern day heroes. What happened in the year 2020 was very unexpected, and no one anticipated that it will last this long. Many are severely affected, and no amount of money or position in life can exclude us from experiencing this. Along with the pandemic came the 4 consecutive typhoons that also fatally affected our fellow men, especially those who live in the north. At this point of our lives, the honor of the modern day heroes must be bestowed to first our frontliners. They are the most at-risk people who sacrifices their life, comfort, energy, sleep, and financial capabilities just to help those who are in need. These frontliners include doctors, nurses, policemen, soldiers, firefighters, coast guards, volunteers, and even delivery men. They are the people who, even with lack of sleep, tirelessly save lives. They are the forefront of this battle. But this is not where our gratitudes must stop. And by that I mean our gratitude must not stop to the frontliners. Our greatest thank yous also goes to the backliners who are as important and vital as those in the front lines. So our backliners are the ones who keep our economy still. They are the people who provide food, and they also provide services like to keep the electricity flowing and the water flowing. Our backliners include farmers, fishermen, public utility service providers, garbage collectors, volunteers, and face masks and PPE suppliers. Without them, we would actually starve, be infected with a disease, and worse, die. Bottom line, our backliners should also be considered our modern day heroes. For the past 10 months, the jobs of our frontliners and backliners and even the volunteers have taken a heavy toll on their physical and mental well-being. Their selflessness, their dedication, and bravery were shown during this health crisis, and this is why they can also be put in the same league as our national heroes who made the ultimate sacrifices in order to free our nation from the oppressors. Whether one helps directly or indirectly, or save 1,000 or a single person, Anyone who helps promote the welfare of another is a hero, someone deserving of respect and gratitude. They are everywhere, and they could also be you.
Mga kaibigan, tunay nga na ang definisyon ng isang bayani ay inuuna ang iba bago ang sarili niya, at siya ang nagbibigay ng daan, gabay at solusyon para sa kinabukasan ng iba. At ito ang dapat tularan ng lahat. Para sa makabagong bayani, saludo kami sa inyo. Kulang pa ang salamat para sa inyong ginawa. At dyan na nagtatapos ang ating usapan. Muli kami ang Group 2. Ako si Mark Guado at ito ang Group 2 Conversations. Thank you and mabuhay!